Hey, welcome to the 800-Pound Gorilla Expert Podcast, where we interview experts at helping you grow your business or your practice. I'm your host, Carl Utter, and now today's show. All right, today's guest is Barbara Grassy. Barbara is a writer, a speaker, and marketing consultant. Barbara has written over 50 books, manuals, and home study courses in the last 10 years. And she is also part of national speakers, new speakers, and small business owners. She is an expert on using books for branding purposes and marketing. She currently works with small business owners in creating marketing plans that are practical, implementable, and effective. You can find out more about her online at barbaragrassy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show, Barbara Grassy. All right, I'm here with Barbara. How you doing, Barbara?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. Where are you today? What part of the world?
I'm sunny, very hot Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. Nice.
I'm on the Gulf Coast.
So, Barbara, tell us a little bit about who your ideal client is.
Okay. Well, an ideal client for me is an entrepreneur or a small business owner, and they're usually consultants or speakers or coaches. And they know they need a book for their business, whether it's a lead magnet or their signature book, but they want something that's going to help promote their business.
So you have two people who have already written a book and those who are aspiring to write a book.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Maybe kind of obvious, but I always ask this question. So what problem do you help them solve?
Well, if you look at the nuts and bolts of what I do, literally I help people publish and market their books. I do some of the coaching for writing their book. I used to ghost a lot of books, but the real problem I solve is how to position yourself as an authority or an expert in your field and how to get the word out about your services. So the book isn't the unique selling proposition. It's a differentiator, but the book really shows off your USP.
Okay, great. So what are some typical symptoms that, people might be having that they should go, yep, I really need to reach out to Barbara?
Okay. Well, one of the big symptoms is you wrote your book and nothing happened with it. That's huge. And it happens a lot. The average book sells fewer than 250 copies in its lifetime. So if you're writing yeah, I know, it's like, So if you think you're going to write a book and make a fortune, no, you're not going to get on Oprah. So really the book is a marketing tool.
Okay.
And the thing I see with most people, especially entrepreneurs, is that they have a problem marketing themselves and they don't want to be seen as somebody who blows their own horn. So they try social media and they go to networking meetings, but they really don't stand out from all the other people who are doing what they do. And so they need a way to stand out from the crowd.
Got it. So when they try to do that on their own without the help of an expert like you, what are some of the typical mistakes they make?
Well, first of all, they never define their target market. You must know this, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I know my target market. I shoot at it all the time. I'm not sure I always hit it.
Well, you really have to narrow it down. You can't chase two rabbits. One of the things I used to see at a chamber meeting I went to was there was a lady who sold makeup, and she'd stand up and she'd say, I'm looking for anybody with skin, which, it's cute and it's funny, but it's not a target, right? And she wasn't. She was looking for women, not men. She was looking for a certain socioeconomic price point of people. So she really didn't have a good target market. So if you're not marketing specifically to someone, you're not marketing to anyone. You probably preach this. And you can't be all things to all people. So that's one of the problems I see. The other is that most entrepreneurs are really good at what they do. They're excellent technicians, but they're not marketers. So they don't have a clear marketing strategy. Or they try something that works for somebody else, but it doesn't fit for them. One of the things I do when I work up marketing plans for people is, I say, are you comfortable going out and speaking? Are you comfortable on social media? I've worked with people that have wanted to do like webinars as lead generators, and they don't know really more than how to get their email. So they don't know how to work with PowerPoint. They don't know how to put up a webinar. They don't know how to market the webinar, or they have no list. So you have to look at where people are at and then build from there.
Got it.
Yeah. So
So along those lines, what's one valuable free action that a member of our audience could take to begin to solve this problem on their own?
start with something small. And I always recommend that you start with a lead magnet of some sort that you can put on your site, put it
Okay.
behind an opt-in wall. You would be amazed at the number of people who have websites and no way to collect emails to build their list, which just makes me nuts. So start with something small. Do a lead magnet, I have a thing called Little Books, and it's the top 10 mistakes or the top 10 tips that you can give to people. Another one is to do a white paper or to explain a process. And what that does is it showcases your expertise. It gives people something of value, which of course triggers a lot of reciprocity, and it shows that you know your stuff. So
There you go.
that's probably the easiest thing they can do for themselves.
And just in case there's somebody watching this that's not familiar with the term lead magnet, maybe you could just define that for us a little better, if you would.
Sure. It used to be called back in the day something bribe. It was an ethical bribe, which was you give somebody something for free and they give you their name and email address. And it's something that every website should have. You want to build your email list.
Right.
And that's basically a lead magnet is something that people are going to say, oh, I want to get that. And it's worth them giving you their contact info so you can keep in touch with them.
So speaking of lead magnets or ethical
Yes.
bribes, maybe you have one on your website that would help
I have
us
a
as
ton.
aspiring writers.
I have a ton of them. I've got a ton of free resources. And actually, if you go to my site, barbaragrassy.com, we'll put a link in there. There's actually a tab that says free resources.
Okay.
I have a blog that has a ton of information. And then, in particular for something like this, I have a link called barbaragrassy.com, Introducing Little Books. And there's actually a video that tells you how little books can be used to increase your business. So we'll put a link to that for them.
Great, great. And Barbara, last question is, what's the one question I should have asked you today, but I didn't?
Oh, let's see. Probably the number one question I get is, how do you start writing your book? And there's lots of easy ways to write a book. Writing a book is something that takes a bit of a commitment, but it's not horrible unless you want to try writing a novel. That's hard. So 9 out of 10 people who start writing a book don't finish. But for a business book, I say start with something small, do a lead magnet type thing. And I also say don't write the thing you care about the most first. I have people who say, oh, I've always wanted to write a book that's like, oh, all my philosophy of business. Don't do that one first. Write an easy one first.
Okay.
So how do you start writing? On my blog, the actual pin post at the top is, how do I start writing my book?
There you go. So we want to watch that. Well, Barbara, you've been a great guest, and thank you so much for joining us on the Expert Podcast, where we ask experts 7 questions in 7 minutes. So again, give us that website one more time for us.
barbaragrassy.com. And if you want to learn about little books, it's barbaragrassy.com/introducing-little-books.
Little-books. Barbara, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl. Take care.
You've been a great guest today.
Thanks.
Folks, that's our show.